2 weeks ago, you had talked about challenges. You had talked about how God challenges us to make us better. And then I think in the last 2 years, I've been extremely challenged to the point where it's almost, I don't like the idea of resenting God, but I do wish he would make things just a little bit easier. But the question is, I need to go to Al Anon. So if I go to a meeting and I discuss the relationship, and the relationship has now ended, but in some sense, this man has ruined my career. He's ruined my relationship with my children. And for me to do all these things, I did this for the sake of a relationship with someone. And I was going to go and discuss this with a group of other people that are in the same situation of having someone that was an alcoholic in their lives. Is that gossiping?
We are told by our rabbis that gossiping, when it comes for a purpose, it's permitted. If you're going to help somebody or a person, for instance, we mentioned many times, the person wants to take somebody to work for him or become partners with him, and he wants to know if the person's honest or not, or what type of person he is, you are allowed to ask around and hear what kind of person he is, since you're doing it for a purpose. Of course, you're not allowed to believe it. You have to be choshesh for it. You have to be wary of it, and maybe it's true, not accept it as a truth, because on the word of one person saying something against somebody else, you can't accept it to be that effect. But you're allowed to hear it and be wary of it, and you don't want to go into a partnership with somebody that you heard that he's not honest, or take a person to work for who's not honest, even though you're not sure, but you're allowed to hear it and keep away. The same thing as far as getting involved with a shidduch with somebody, marrying a person, you're allowed to search and ask people what kind of person he is. And even though you believe it to be a fact, but you have to be allowed to be wary. Maybe the person has that problem and you don't want to get involved in marriage with the person with that problem. Anything that has to do with your welfare, and you're not asking in order just to have gossip, but you're asking for a purpose which has meaning to it, you're allowed to give information, get information, and in the case that you're talking about, it goes into that category. You're not doing it because you want to talk gossip, because you enjoy talking about gossip. You're doing it because there's a purpose for it, and you don't want to be damaged by it, or sometimes you want to help the person. It's the same thing. Sometimes somebody has a certain problem and needs someone to talk to them about it. You're allowed to tell the person who has influence on that person that he has that problem, and maybe you, since you have influence, go and speak to him about it. So when it comes to a purpose, a reason for talking gossip, and it's going to help somebody, then you're allowed to talk. You're not allowed to believe it as a fact, but you're allowed to listen and act accordingly.